Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining in today. We are going to talk today about the Cordo principle, and you guys probably don't know anything about that, but I promise you, by the end of this, you will understand it, and it'll be one of the most valuable lessons that you ever learn in your network marketing career. So we'll give it a few minutes. Again, we're going to talk about the Cordo principle today. And this was probably one of the most impactful lessons that I've ever learned. And it's about the mindset of launching a business. Some of you guys have been in your companies for days, weeks, months, even years, and you've never launched. And it's kind of interesting because buying a kit is not launching a business. Showing up at a weekly meeting is not launching a business. Getting on a conference call is not launching a business. Going across the country to an event is not launching a business. And I learned this a few years ago in a Brian Tracy book, but it's not Brian Tracy's original information. In fact, the Cordo principle is a result of a 12-year study at Babson College. This professor Robert something, Robich, I think, or no, Robert something anyway. He studied entrepreneurs for 12 years, and he says that the Cordo principle states that people who, well, I'll talk about it in a second. So the one defining characteristic of people who are successful, so entrepreneurs, 12 years of studying, that there's one defining characteristic that entrepreneurs who go on to have great success have, that the others that fail or don't have success don't. And he says that is the willingness to launch their business with no guarantee. So I'm going to draw this out for a second, and this is going to be a great lesson. And if you're in my company, it's a refresher because I did train this from stage a couple weeks ago in front of probably 4,000 or 5,000 people. But it's one of the most valuable lessons I think you'll ever have. So the Cordo principle is this. Think of your business as kind of a mental corridor, right? So most of us, we're standing at the edge of our corridor, right? Here's me. And you're looking in saying, okay, here's my current network, right? You might have your mom or your dad, they'll buy my product, right? They'll be my customer. Oh, my friend, she's an entrepreneur. She's always starting a business. She'll probably do this. You know, oh, this person likes these kind of products. And you can only see so far into the corridor, right? And you can see that. And most people make a decision to join a network marketing company based on who they think in their current network now will say yes. And that's it. So they may even dabble in it. They may even send a link out or a video out or invite them to a party. And what they do is they sit there and they prejudge, you know, the 100 to 200 people in their network. I know this is a little backwards, so I'm trying not to write words. The 100 to 200 people in their network, and they make a decision of whether to start a business based on what they believe those people will do, right? So if you prejudge your network and say, nobody in my network wants to be healthy, I would be silly to join a health company, then you're not going to join a health company, right? If you're a man, you might say, well, I could never sell makeup or jewelry or skincare because none of my friends would want makeup or jewelry or skincare, right? This is prejudging. So the Cordo principle states that the entrepreneurs who go on to have success, and I mean like mega success, are willing to launch into the corridor with no guarantees. Meaning, if everyone I know right now says no, do I still believe that I can succeed? And the ones who say yes because they see it, they launch their business and they have a different mindset, they have a different posture, they're more willing to learn, they're more willing to show up, they're more willing to make a decision, right? Then everyone is standing at the edge of this corridor. Well, I want to share with you something very, very, very enlightening to you guys, that I launched my business in March of 2007. I had never done a day of network marketing in my life. I had no background in nutrition. Everyone knows that I'm in nutrition companies. I have no ownership experience. I'd never owned a business. I had never started a business. I had no entrepreneur mindset. I hadn't read a single book about, anything that would help me. And I went to a presentation and I saw some information and I thought, well, I like this. And if I like it, there's got to be more people like me that want to get healthy and wouldn't mind sharing a healthy product with other people. And all of my family that were interested were already in the company. I was literally the last sibling to join. And all of my friends said no. All of my aunts and uncles and parents thought we had all lost their minds. They're like, oh, don't get too excited. These things don't last. Only the people at the top make money. All these great, wonderful things that your family says. But I still did it. And I think about sometimes like, how did I survive that? I don't even know why I even said yes in the first place, but I did. And I'm here, so it must have worked out now. But I want to tell you that when I said yes in March of 2007, I said yes because I saw people having success. There was a woman about 3 hours from me making $5,000 a week, which is about $250,000 or $260,000 a year. After 10 months, I also saw another woman 20 minutes from me. Again, this was her first time in network marketing, making $300,000 a year. She went on to make over $1 million a year. And I said, if they can do it, then so can I. I just have to figure it out. Now, this is the cool part. Let me see. When I started, my mom did buy my product. She said, if you don't get in and you don't join, then I'm just going to buy it from your sister. So hurry up and I'll buy it from you. Cause I don't know, because maybe she liked me better. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, she bought it. And then my loan processor, you guys know, some of you guys know my background. I was in mortgage. One of my loan processors said, you have to buy this product from me because I got to get to my first level, which is 2 people on the minimum order. So I made a whopping $40 my first 30 days in network marketing. So congratulations. If you have made more than $40 in your first 30 days, you are far more successful than I was. I'm thinking my upline's probably thinking this chick's a bomb, right? Everyone's like fighting over me and my family. I'm like, I'm not even going to do good. I don't even know what you guys are fighting about. I don't even know if I'm going to do this, right? And awesome. My housekeeper's just turned on the vacuum. That's going to be awesome. So I said yes, even though all of my family was already in it and all my friends said no. 3 months into it, and I do not recommend this. Disclaimer, don't post anything on Craigslist. It will be flagged and removed, and it is not a way. I do not condone it. I would never, ever do it. But being new as an entrepreneur, and all my family was already in it, and all my friends said no, I was trying to be creative. So I posted something on Facebook. One person called me before it was flagged, or not Facebook, Craigslist. One person called me before it was flagged and removed and said, hey, I'm interested. I read your article and I just wrote a long story. It was everything not to do with network marketing. One person called me and she was actually one of the most negative people I've ever met. She was horrible. She complained about all the ingredients and this and that. And she says, I know someone just like you. And I think I should introduce her to you. And she's in these network marketing things too. And I said, great. So I drove an hour and 15 minutes to go meet this girl. Well, unbeknownst to me, she was actually trying to pitch me her business. And I was like, well, okay, you go first. So I let her pitch me. And she had one of her friends there that was in the company with her. So they had like numbers on me. And then I pitched her my business. And she's like, okay, well, this sounds interesting. I'll give you a call. And I said, okay. So I get home and I log into my back office. And she had signed herself up. Awesome. Okay, so she had signed herself up and I called her. I'm like, oh, well, you're interested? She goes, yeah. And I guess when I walked out, she said, I don't know what that girl is selling, but I was so enamored by her posture and her excitement that I had to join. Like, she is so sure of what she's doing, I had to join her. Stranger, a friend off, not even a friend, like a contact I made from a Craigslist posting introduces this woman cold to me, and she signed herself up and her business and the girl that was sitting there with her on the way I was driving home. That woman went to put in over 3,000 people in my team over the following 2 years. Did I know her when I said yes? No. 3,000 people in 2 years. I drove an hour probably once or twice a week for 90 days, getting into living rooms with her, you know, working with her, helping her present, and she watched me and she learned and she learned and she learned and she learned. And shortly after that, she was doing her own meetings and she was a leader, and we're still to this day good friends, right? She was my #1 in 2 companies, by the way. Somebody I met because I was just doing the activities, right? Second person, my husband almost played professional baseball. He played for Indiana University, and he was actually recruited by the Marlins or something, but he blew his arm out his senior year. But he had a lot of friends that went on to play professional baseball, and he called one of them and he said, "Oh, you know, I think I see that stuff at the gym." He goes, "Yeah, my wife's selling it now." So he tells his friend, like in another state, like I live in California, he lives in Ohio. He calls his buddy that lives in Washington, who plays first base at the time for the Diamondbacks, Lyle Overbay, $7 million a year earner, right? And all of a sudden, Lyle Overbay and his family start putting people in, and I'm seeing like Overbay Enterprises and this and that. I'm like, I'm watching this happen, and I call him and I say, "Are you guys interested in the business?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Great, I'll come up there." So I flew from California to Washington, and in one weekend, in 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, he put over 150 people in front of me. And